Welcome to the Possibility Paradigm podcast, where we have conversations that are at the intersection of possibility, consciousness, actual experience, and energetic intelligence. The Possibility Paradigm are actually more than conversations. They're experiences that can change your tomorrows. Let's jump into today's episode. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Possibility Paradigm. This is a space where we flip old stories upside down and step into the new ways of being that actually set us free. And today we're going to be moving that energy around where you blame your body, and rather than blaming your body, how about you befriend your freedom? And this topic is something that many of us do without even realizing that we're blaming our bodies. And when something hurts, when your body doesn't look like or perform the way that you want it to, when you feel tired or heavy, it's like, oh, I can't, it's the body, my body. And then, most of us then go into frustration of some type, or even anger. And we really get kind of caught up in this seeing the body as a problem, as something that's not functioning well, that's broken in some way, and as something that we have to fight. But, it's not new. You would have heard before, what if your body is actually, your ally for freedom? And what if it's actually not broken? And it's very easy for particularly, within the spiritual and energetic world where there's a lot of judgment around the density of a body and the density of this dimension, but, the density of a body. And so it's actually then caught up in giving you something to blame, right? You can blame the body because it's in density. So it's denser than, the infinite being, your higher self or your most expanded self. And then you have the body, which you're calling in some way, subconsciously, it's got this undercurrent of the body being less than in some way because it's in density, right? And the truth is that when we leave this dimension, when we pass over, our body stays here and our soul or our spirit remains infinite. But neither does it become less infinite because we are with body in this dimension. And that's, I think, where there's a bit of more paradigm shifting to do, perhaps on another call. But with that unconscious but second-rate judgment of the body running because it's dense, you're not doing you or your body I'm going to use the term relationship. It's not really what I mean, but in the few minutes that we have together, that's what I'm going to use for the moment. It's like in that connection, it's a big disservice to both you as a being on the planet and your body to blame your body because it's dense or it's in density. And so when you're angry at your body, you're also, in one of the previous episodes, I was talking about blame. And when you're angry at your body, you're reinforcing the very pain or struggle that you say that you're trying to escape. And it becomes a loop, right? There's pain, there's blame, there's frustration, there's more pain. And it's this disconnect from the awareness that your body is an incredible, like it's the most awesome thing that in creation, as far as I'm concerned. But I don't look at it as a mechanical thing. It's actually an energetic creation of, we don't even know half of what is capable within the body. And I know that from many years working particularly with energetic medicine. So I know what the body is actually capable of doing, what it's very, very willing to do if we just get our judgments out of the way. And and so that loop that's sitting particularly in consciousness, that it's some sort of second-rate experience. It's not. And also remembering that our bodies are actually a gift from the earth for us to play with and in while we're here. And I recently worked with somebody who actually, was fighting her body. She'd been on Earth in a body and on Earth not in a body many, 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 many times. A very, very, very wise, capable woman. But she still had this perception running that she was not as capable to contribute to the consciousness of humanity while she was embodied. And this is not a truth, because there's something very special about the embodiment process when you are a conscious being that is way more powerful and empowering than most people realize, which is what I help people do. If you're interested in talking about how that might play out for you, then by all means, in the links below, there is a link there to have a chemistry call, and we can play around with that for yourself, with your own incarnation. But it's quite common, right? That you're not as capable because you're in physical form. That is not true. There is some magic that's to be opened up around that. That is for sure. So, but I'm going to go back to that loop: pain, blame, frustration, more pain. And if you've been in that loop for a while, it actually becomes unconsciously normal, right? You don't even notice that you're doing it. But blame is not freedom. It's actually, well, one of the things is it's a trap. But again, it's just it distracts you from the truth of who you are, for one thing. But it distracts you because you keep taking the power of you and dispersing it into what you're blaming. And that's not going to be fun for either what you're blaming, whether it be your body or somebody else or the universe. So it's just not going to feel good within you. But let me move on. Body, we know if you're listening to this podcast, you'll always also be aware that your body is actually communicating with you, not malfunctioning. It is an incredible communicator, like incredible communicator. And nor is it like your enemy, right? As I said, it's a gift from Gaia. Imagine if you gifted somebody something like the most incredible living thing on the earth, and they went, "Oh, what that thing, no, it doesn't work all that well. Oh, it's the wrong shape. Oh, I never liked hair like that." And I was like, seriously, right? Imagine. Would you be offended? Anyway, that wasn't exactly where I was going to go with that, but it does that blaming energy though, it gives signals into the universe that are out of your power, and they're not about choice, and they're not curious, they're defined, and they're narrow. And so there's an invitation here to soften out of the judgment and into listening to your body and create a completely different experience with yourself as yourself. So there's a connectivity between the structural nature of the body and your being that is incredibly, incredibly informative. It is full of so much wisdom and magic and potential and possibilities. It's so uniquely orchestrated, so bloody awesome, right? And so what we do when we're in human form is though we go around comparison, you know, So we look at other people's bodies and their energy and their gifts, and we decide that we're not quite that, and we could be that, but we're not, and why aren't we? And who are we going to blame for that? And it was my childhood, and blah 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 blah. But comparison is just another. It's just another way of minimizing your power. It minimizes your body. It minimizes your gifts, your path, and they are all uniquely yours. And everything is enough, right? Everyone is enough, and everything is enough, and you are enough. And that the comparison, and again, comparison's a bit like blame. It can be really sneaky. And even probably about 6 weeks ago, I unconsciously fell into a comparison mode. Oh my God, I couldn't work out why I was feeling so crappy, right? And then I realized that in the background was this blurb going on um, about somebody's, capacity, as and I didn't have that capacity, and completely forgot that they don't have my capacity. The combination is awesome. Totally awesome. But yeah, once you get into that comparison thing, it's like, well, then you don't show up in that connection as you. And so it changes the dynamic and the possibilities that are created by the connection. And that connection, the same thing as you have with other people, that is the dynamic of the relationship with your body. So how do we shift out of this blame pattern? And really by being inquisitive and curious, right? So if you're feeling frustrated, uh, stop, listen, drop the judgment, and ask, body, what are you saying to me? What are you showing me? Not what do you need? What do we need? You forget you're a collaboration. Every time you go, what do you need, body? You are reinforcing the separation, which is what is under major paradigm shift, right? The separation story is under major paradigm shift. Body, what do you need is a separation. Body, what do we need that I'm not aware of? And you are, yelling at me with all this pain. It's a gift of being in this dimension, a gift of being on this planet. And, if comparison shows up, extending what I was saying is my gift is uniquely mine, and it cannot even, therefore it cannot be measured against another's, and vice versa. Because each and every time that we can interrupt these loops of blame or comparison, you're actually stepping into your sovereignty, and your sovereignty is where your freedom is. Your freedom is your sovereignty, and your sovereignty is your freedom. And so this week, what if you what if you played with your body more as an ally, not as an escape clause to um, constantly blame? Oh no, I'm not feeling well. Or, oh no, I've got a sore foot. And I'm not talking, please, A, this is not medical advice, and B, I'm not talking about pushing through. Somewhere, I think it was the previous episode, I talked about pushing through things. That's not what I'm talking about, nor is it medical advice. But this is an opportunity to ask a question, to become curious, and to really begin to embody the gift of the body and the body's gift with you. Because it's not broken, it's not dense and a problem. You're not behind. Yours are the gifts that are uniquely yours to bring. And can you be in awe with yours and in awe with the gifts that you recognize in others? Like, what a good life that is, right? What a good life that is. And so, again, I'm going to say you are the possibility. And thank you for being with me today on the possibility paradigm. If it resonated, if you know that there's somebody who's stuck in the old blame and particularly the body blame cycle, you might like to share it with them. And, let's spread a different story, a different possibility. And freedom comes from our conscious choices, from our sovereignty, because you are the possibility. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
The free workbook, Finding Your Missing Piece guide, has helped hundreds of people unlock their potential and create positive change in their lives. It's a free gift and available at the link on my website that's listed below. Find Your Missing Piece, practical tools and exercises that bring the missing awareness around how you view yourself, your possibilities, your obstacles, and activating your receiving capacities.